This is Old vs. Gold, the podcast that takes your fond childhood memories of movies and TV and holds them up to the harsh light of today. Movies like The Goonies.
Sean Astin has psychological asthma, apparently.
What about the creepiness of his little moment with One-Eyed Willie? And the whole, "You're the first Goonie."
Let's just take a step back here and just contemplate the bad guy character being named One-Eyed Willie.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, really.
And Gremlins.
Gizmo, followed his own rules.
Yeah.
He was
Diet,
nope, gotta stay on my diet. Yeah, you don't get this bod right after midnight. Ladies.
Do they still have what it takes to capture your grown-up heart?
I'm just gonna say, this is a terrible movie.
It's a terrible movie.
It's a terrible movie. Lightly peppered with funny bits. Little jokes that are funny.
See, I thought that was just me.
I liked it. I'm not saying it's a great work of Shakespeare or anything, but put this up against other 80s movies of its time that were snow-related with the exact same plot. The exact same plot.
I think I've completely forgotten that there were that many snow-related 80s movies.
There's a genre, dude.
What about TV shows like Star Trek The Next Generation? Episodes like The Naked Now.
There's this weird Tuskegee imagery with her going, "I'm gonna hold Geordie LaForge," possibly because of racial profiling, and then oh, here's an experimental medication that I'm actually not sure if it's gonna work, but let's try it on the black guy.
In each episode, we take a movie or an episode from a TV show and discuss what we remember when we first saw it, oh so many years ago.
I kind of think that this is what started my obsession with British cinema, to the point where I went to Britain and studied film.
Oh, wow.
So I have high hopes that Chariot Fire was that very first nugget of British cinema. So if I'm disappointed, it's
Oh, no.
my
very
whole
badly.
film career is for naught.
Oh, it's too much pressure on the podcast.
I was obsessed with this film. This film was the world I wanted to live in. I was deep in the throes of high school and when it came out, and I think I went to the $2 matinee at the local mall. I got the soundtrack on cassette. I wore it out. Alan Parsons doing the soundtrack. I was in love with the world. I loved the story. I knew all the dialogue backwards and forwards.
We also include some details about the cast and crew that you might find interesting.
This totally changes watching the movie when we find out that he then went into hardcore gay porn in the late 90s. And then came back to indie horror, apparently, currently, but
Yeah.
for a while.
So one could say he was in a lot of things in the 80s, then a lot of things
We're in him in the 90s.
On several occasions, we even have someone on the podcast who never got around to seeing the chosen film or TV show.
I admit my shame. I've never seen this movie.
You are guilty of the crime of not seeing The Abyss.
I am.
It's a misdemeanor.
Tell us why.
What?
Explain yourself.
We then watch the movie or TV show and continue the podcast to discuss our feelings, our observations, and even our concerns.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room.
yes.
The big thing that probably we didn't think about back in the 80s.
What was supposed to be Bill Murray's charm really
Yeah.
came off.
Super creepy.
Yeah.
The whole notion of the entire character's / actor's charm
Yes.
is based on being
yeah.
pushy at women.
Yeah.
Illegal and immoral and inappropriate behavior, basically.
We were introduced to him where he's trying to...
Oh, the first scene is terrible.
Yeah.
He's lying
Completely
to the
unethical.
students
Yeah.
to try to get her in bed.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah.
Then we vote and decide if it's old or gold.
At a certain point when she's vamping out, it's a heart video.
Oh god,
And we were
this
mentioning
movie
that,
was
too.
half heart video.
It was
But the
like,
remarkable thing about this use of the air vent cliche is not only that he was able to crawl through air vents that normally don't accommodate that, but he also apparently changed clothes.
Oh, that's right.
He changed from a white tank top to a dark one for some reason.
That was weird.
We haven't talked about the homoerotic undertones yet.
Oh, yes.
We
Lots
haven't-
of hugging in this movie.
Lots
Oh,
of
and-
man-on-man hugging.
Yeah. Not just hugging. I mean, it was the full-on just pull your like the way you would hug somebody that you want to take home for the night.
Old vs. Gold is a production of Hidden Deadly, a filmmaking partnership of Robert Ogine and Tim Bland. In each episode, Tim and I invite one or more of our fun and creative friends to join us in a nostalgic evisceration of our childhood memories.
And then I remember this giant white dog who talks like a stoner, and I didn't remember if I was afraid of this giant flying dog or if I loved him, but he was really cute.
Old vs. Gold Season 2 starts on Tuesday, October 7th with Better Off Dead. Go to OldvGold.com where you can subscribe with iTunes, the RSS feed, or listen to the episode right off the website.